sometimes go to practice and somebody is in like a bad mood. I sometimes don't appreciate when they take that out. Or if you go home and your roommate's in a bad mood, I really don't appreciate that, like when they take it out on you when you didn't do anything, because I just feel like it's unnecessary, and if I'm not doing that to you, like you don't need to do that to me, and it's just unnecessarily like an unnecessary stress on my life when I didn't do anything to provoke it. So I feel like honestly, like dealing with other people's emotions is probably my most frustrating issue right now.
I totally get that, because it seems like it can almost be unfair, because you didn't necessarily do anything in this situation, but you're getting all of the backlash from what your teammates are going through.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the question. How have you responded in the past to this backlash?
I usually try not to respond, but sometimes I don't know. I usually try not to respond though. I'm very like not like that, but I just, it makes it like, because already the day-to-day is already hard being in season, so just dealing with stuff like that just can make it even more like hard to deal with. And I just kind of like, it's annoying, like, because you're already dealing with practice and all that, which is manageable, but then also dealing with people's emotions when you didn't like ask and you didn't provoke it can be like a big stressor.
Definitely. So when this happens to you, do you say anything to these people? Do you respond in some way? Or
once in a while I'll like say something, and then usually I'll get like an apology, but most of the time I kind of just let it go, because to me, like as an adult, like that really has nothing to do with our job, which is to play volleyball. So I usually just let it go, but sometimes it requires an apology.
Yeah.
But not all the time.
And do you feel like it's kind of something that isn't really worth it in the long run? You can kind of just let it brush by, kind of.
Yeah, it doesn't feel worth it in the long run at all. So that's why I really like try not to care, because I know it's not important. But like sometimes you're like, really, like you just didn't need to happen. But in the long run, no, I'm like, this is very not. And usually most of the time it's about them, not even me. So it's like, I really try to also be like empathetic towards them, because I understand. Like,
that was the thing, and it's just like you have to.
I try to be empathetic because I can understand where people come from sometimes with their emotions, but like sometimes in the day to day, it's like I can't always be like, oh, you know. But yeah.
Well, it does sound like you have a healthy approach to this, even though it can definitely be frustrating, I'm sure. So I have to give you a lot of credit for that.
Thank you. I thought you did a really good job, and you didn't give me one suggestion, and you said I'm doing a good job, so I think you did well.
It's like hard for me to not like be like too like good on you, like you can't do any wrong. But I was trying to practice like the championing, is that what it's called? Which is kind of tough.
Yeah. Okay. So, do I have to be the coach now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who didn't talk? You didn't talk yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that would be like the last part.
Sort of when we're done. I can time.
So what's something that you're going through right now that's
I would say one thing that's just been like going on recently is like I usually always have like 2 jobs that I work, but recently I just quit one of them because my boss is like psychotic. Like I worked at Garage, the store, if you're familiar with that, and I originally started working there because they had a 50% off discount, and I was like, okay, like I don't want to work here too much because I'm already really busy. And she started scheduling me like 40 hours a week, and so I was communicating to her like, no, I already have another job, that's too much. And week after week she was scheduling me 40 hours a week, and I was kept on expressing to her, that's too much. And so finally she started scheduling me a little bit less. I was doing like 20 hours a week, which is still kind of a lot, especially with school and another job and everything else. And she was like, I need to start scheduling you 40 hours again because you're one of our stronger employees. And when she said that, I was like, well, if you do that, I'm gonna have to quit because not for a job that pays so bad. Like, I don't really care that much. And basically she started becoming like a stalker. Like, it was crazy. The manager literally, she wanted me to take someone else's shift that called out, and I was like, no, like, I have class. She calls me 28 times in a row. It's like, no. Like, this was last week. She called me literally 28 times in a row. And I like have do not disturb on, and it was just going off. So I had to quit. So now I'm like, I only have one job. I literally quit because she called me 28 times in a row. I was like, this is too much for me. It's giving me anxiety. So now I'm just a little bit stressed out lately.
Did this experience make you grateful for your other job?
Yes, because they're actually more normal there. They're more calm. And they don't call you 28 times in a row if they want you to take someone else's shift. But
I can definitely see why this made you stressed and a little, like, feel a little uncomfortable, because a manager, no matter your relation, doesn't even sound like you were that close, should be calling you 28 times in a row. So I can see how that made you uncomfortable and also made you stress and quit your job.
yeah, we weren't close at all. So it was a little bit crazy. And I was just in class, and she was like blowing up my phone.
Do you feel better though now that you quit the job? Like, do you feel, even though it was another source of income, do you feel?
I do feel better, but I will miss that 50% off discount.
Yes. Well, I give you credit for quitting the job and putting your health first and not dealing with the person.